Hi guys, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you very much for joining me. Well, today I'm going to can sweet potatoes, and I got 2 pans on the stove. I got them cut up, washed, and they're going to boil for 20 minutes, and then I'll pull them out and peel them, and I'm going to put them in chunks. I got 2 pans here. This one has not started boiling yet. It's steaming, but not boiling. They're floating. Alright, so we'll be back in a little bit. Alright. Alright, so we got them in the sink. Got cold water going over them so I can cool them off to peel them now. And they'll peel fairly easy. See that? Okay, that's nice. Let me move that out of the way. And then I'm going to cut them up in chunks. I'm going to make sure there's no spots such as that. Oh, that one might be rotten. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we don't want anything discolored or rotten. Yeah, it's still hot. You can see it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah, hot, hot, hot. Alright, I'll put it in another bowl, and I'll cut those up into smaller chunks for the jars. And they're going to process for 90 minutes at 11 pounds for my elevation. Always check your manual for what your elevation is to find out where how many pounds of pressure you should be processing your foods, and you know, to follow all the safety protocol. Yeah, you don't want food poisoning. Yeah, see how nice that peels? Yeah, they're still very hot. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah, they peel real nice. I just peel it with my finger. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I'll cut that off. Alright, I'm going to finish them up, and we'll be back. Alright, I got all the sweet potatoes cut up. Any spots and things like that I removed. I'm going to be adding 1 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. You don't want to use iodine salt because it'll discolor the water. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon to each one. You don't have to. It's only because of preference for flavor. Now you're supposed to boil them anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to remove the skins. And I probably let them boil too long because I think they're going to be mushy. But that's okay. I like my sweet potatoes with butter and a little salt. But for those of you who don't want mushy potatoes, yeah, maybe just 10 minutes for boiling to remove the skins. That's a little much. Sweet potatoes are what they consider a superfood, packed with all kinds of vitamins. vitamin A, things like that. I notice when I eat sweet potatoes, my eyes are actually better, and I decided to put them in pint jars. That way I have it just for myself. Alright, we got 2 more back here, but I'll put the salt in, but I'm gonna wait because I got way too many to put in my canner. I don't have an extra rack. I'm gonna have to order an extra rack. Alright, let's add the water. And then we're gonna clean the rims and debubble it. 1 inch of head space. Okay. So we're gonna debubble. Always debubble. Yeah, see the little bubbles coming up? See them coming up? Yeah. Okay. So that needs a little bit of water. That one's good. Let's add a little bit more water. Alright. Oh. Maybe a little more. Of course, it depends on how you tip your measuring tool also. Okay, I got vinegar on my cloth to clean the rims. I also put 2 tablespoons of vinegar in my water. That way the jars don't get water spots. The lids don't get water spots. Things like that. Okay. Get my rings, my lids. There's 1 lid. And 2 lids. And then the rings. Finger tight. If they're too loose during processing, they'll shake themselves off. If too tight, yeah, you won't be able to get them off. The rings are only to make sure the lids stay in place during processing. And we'll put them in the canner. Okay. I got more jars than we'll put in the canner, so I'll have to do another batch. Alright, I'm going to do the rest and I'll be back. Alright, so I put in 3 quarts of water in here with the vinegar. I got 11 jars in here. And they're in pints. So according to the USDA book, we're going to process them for 65 minutes at 11 pounds because I am below 2,000 foot level. Now if you're above 2,000 foot level in elevation, you can see here between 2 and 4, 12 pounds of pressure, 4 to 6, 13 pounds of pressure, and 6 to 8,000 foot level, 14 pounds of pressure. And now I'm in pints. I'm not doing quarts. And so instead of 90 minutes, I only have to process for 65 minutes. I got 4 jars left over. I'm just going to stick those in the fridge and we'll have those for dinner tonight. Yeah, that'll be good. Alright, so we'll put the lid on. Alright, so we'll put the lid on the canner, lock it in place, and I already have the heat on. So we're going to wait for it to start venting. Okay, this safety valve and this safety valve will come up. And after that locks in place, they come up, it'll vent. And we're going to let it vent, steam out, push all the air out for 10 minutes. And then, after it vents for 10 minutes, we're going to put the weight on the lid. But only after it vents for 10 minutes, and only after these two safety valves lock in place. And then we'll watch the gauge come up to 11 pounds, and then let it cook for 65 minutes. After the 65 minutes, I'll turn it off and let it cool down by itself. And then, after it's cooled down, after there's zero pressure on the gauge and these two valves have gone down, we'll wait about 10 minutes before I remove the lid, opening it up away from my face, and then taking out the jars and setting them on the counter. And then we'll wash them in warm soapy water and label them the next day, tomorrow, after they sat for about 12 hours. Alright, back in a minute. Alright, you can see there that the safety valve, the nipple came up, and that one came up too. So we're going to start the timer for 10 minutes. I don't know if you can see the steam that's coming out. Alright, maybe you can see it now in front of the cupboard. See how that's steaming? We'll let it vent, get all the air out for 10 minutes. Alright, well, I turned down the heat. It's up to 12 pounds. You can go over, but you can't go under. If you go under, they say you got to start over, or at least figure out how long it was under the pressure that it was supposed to be at. So anyways, I dropped the temperature. It should start dropping, and I'll keep an eye on it to help maintain the 11 pounds. Like I said, you can be a little bit over. That don't matter. And we'll start the time and go from there. Alright. Alright, the 65 minutes is up. I turned it off. The safety valve is down. That one's down. We'll see if there's... I'm going to open this away from my face. And now I'm going to wait, about 5 minutes before I open it. And then I'm going to wait another 10 minutes before I remove the lid, unlocking it. And then I'm going to open it so it's not facing me. I'm going to open it so it's away from my face. Away from my face. And then we'll move that over here. Okay. Thank you. And there we got the cans. Let's see, let's take them out. Or the jars, I should say the jars. Oops. Dropping everything. Okay. Now, I only had 3 quarts of water in here because you don't want the water to boil up over the rims. Okay. I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned that before. You can see they're still bubbling. And they'll sit here until tomorrow, or I'll move them to another place so I can cook dinner later. And then tomorrow we'll remove the rings, give them a soapy wash, label them, and put them in a clean, cool, dark place. And like I said, this is considered superfood. Really good for you. Lots of vitamins and minerals. Yeah. Very nice. Looks like they're all okay. Don't look like they became too mushy. I heard one pop. Yeah, one of the lids probably is already sucking out its air and sealing. Now after they're all cooled off, we'll check the seals. We'll make sure they're all indented. I'm not going to push on them ahead of time. I'm going to let them seal on their own. And then after I take the rings, we'll look at them, make sure they're all thoroughly stuck on there, secured. And if there isn't, oh, there's one popping now. And if one isn't, I'll just stick it in the fridge and eat it later. But yeah, was it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 jars? And this will keep for probably at least 18 months, 2 years, maybe longer. I'll have to look it up on the FDA website. So always follow your manual. And I did cook this according to the USDA, so it will be safe to eat later. Alright, thank you for watching. If you have any tips to add, because I am still learning how to do this, please put it down below. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe and always prepare. Food prices are getting outrageous, and if you think they're high now, just wait until next year. Things are not going to get better. Alright, thank you again, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.